Hi and welcome back to my channel, and this video is a special one. So this video is going to be designed for supporting directors. So many of you watching this are CIC owners or people who are going to be starting a CIC, and so I've designed this video for you to show to the people that you're asking to be your directors. So these are what we're going to call supporting directors. So they're people who are just helping you so you can create your community interest company. Because these people are going to have lots of questions and they're going to want to know what their legal duties are and what risks there are to them. So this video is going to be designed to sort of walk them through what those questions, those common questions are. So before I jump into that, please hit the subscribe button and join this channel for everything to do with CICs and grant funding. Hi directors, so this video is for you, for those of you who have been asked by a founding director of a community interest company to help support them and be supporting directors. So I know you've got lots of questions because I help students set up their CICs and I hear, what the kind of questions that they get asked when they're asking people, can you be a director on my CIC? So I'm hoping this video is going to clear some of that up and be useful to you and let you know what your legal duties are and what risks there are. So first of all, thank you. If you're considering being a supporting director, it's a really important role, and you're going to be contributing to the founder being able to set this community interest company up to do really good work, really impactful work in our community. So thank you. It's a really kind thing that you're doing. This isn't a paid position. So directors cannot be paid. A community interest company is limited by guarantee. There are no shareholders and directors cannot be paid. So no profits can be given out. So you can't earn as a supporting director. Now, most of the founding directors will be paid for the work that they do in their CIC, but for most people, there isn't enough money to be creating multiple jobs. And you have probably been asked to be a supporting director, which is a non-paid person, like on a voluntary board overseeing the CIC, so that you're enabling that founding director to be able to do that work, to be able to pull down money, to pay themselves to do that good work in the community. So it's very kind of you to do this work voluntarily, but there are some positives for you as well. So one, we would hope that this looks good on your CV. It's great to do voluntary work. It's great to support our communities. It's great to make a difference. You're obviously also helping this person that you probably know already. So that's a very kind thing that you're doing. So thank you. So what are your legal responsibilities? So as a director, you will be asked by the founding director to attend quarterly meetings. So these quarterly meetings don't have to be anything too heavy. They could be via Zoom. They could even be done via email if people can't actually attend in person or on a Zoom. But it's really important that they take place and they are minuted, and those minutes are kept for a lot of years because just in case anybody like a regulator was to go back and check, it is a legal requirement that your CIC keep those minutes. It doesn't have to be anything much. I literally have just a template and I fill that out. I take my directors out for dinner every quarter and I fill out the form. And just say, basically I give an update of what's happening, what we're doing, where we're going, what project funding we've got in, what payments we've got going out. And so that the job of the founder is to keep you in the loop and let you know exactly what's happening. You should be able to have access if you want to see the bank accounts. You should be able to have access if you, when the accounts are done at the end of the year. It is also your responsibility that those counts are done. So you do have a legal responsibility as a director to, to obviously prod your founder to make sure he or she gets those in. Now, what if they don't get them in? Well, you should really have something set up to remind you of when your account ending, date is, so that all those things are done. And one great way to do that is actually through those quarterly meetings. You have a box on there, which has your date, just to remind everybody, this is a date that our accounts are going to be due, they're going to be submitted. So you should be able to keep up to date with what's been submitted and what hasn't through those quarterly meetings. But certainly, putting some kind of notification in place so that you make sure you don't miss your taxes. If you do miss your taxes, you get fined by Companies House or HMRC, and technically all of you are liable to pay that fine. But I've done this before, and in my early days I got fined but it was my fault, so I paid for it as the founder. I would not have dreamt of making them pay for that, so it was my mistake. So, you just have something in agreement between you, that one, that the founder is responsible for doing the accounts, and that they're responsible, for paying it if they make a mistake. It shouldn't be something that you have to pay for, and I'm sure your founder will reassure you on that, and they could always put something in writing if in the minutes to say that they would be responsible for that, and they'd have to pay a fine if they made a mistake. So you are not, by talking about fines, let's talk about the finances. You are not liable, okay? So you are not liable for what happens with this company. So for instance, say the company is sued, say your CIC is sued or something, so you are not personally liable. So they can never come after your house, okay? No one can ever come after your house. The worst that happens is the company has to get dissolved, okay? Or if, say, the company ends up owing money or is taken to small claims court, it's the company that has to pay that. If the company can't pay it, as you know, it goes bankrupt, dissolves, or whatever, that you are not personally liable. So no one can come after you personally for any money to do with the company. And at any point, you can take yourself off as a director, okay? So that is done easily through web filing. So your founder will already have access to your web filing, which is done on Companies House. It's like a profile, and you can literally just add and delete directors on that profile. So at any point, if you're not happy, you just got to minute it in obviously your minutes, and you've got to put in writing that you've resigned or whatever. But you can just submit that via email, and then you can be taken off, and then that's it. So as I said, you're not liable for anything to do with the company. So let's talk about worst case scenarios, okay, just so we've covered it. Now, assuming that you know this person, you trust this person's maybe somebody you know professionally and they're honourable and everything else. But say worst case scenario happens, you get paid by the National Lottery and they do a runner with the money, okay? It's incredibly unlikely, okay? If that happened, question is, are you going to get a phone call from the National Lottery to say what happened to our grant funding? And the answer to that is yes, you would. So you would get a phone call to say what's happened with the grant funding money. Now, if you are not the person who has run off with the money, then you've got nothing to worry about. So the most that will happen is the lottery will say, okay, well, the person's run off with the money and so we need that money back. And you're going to be like, well, I didn't have anything to do with it. You need to take that up with them. I was just a supporting director. I had no access to the bank account. I had no access to, the funds. It wasn't my responsibility. Goodbye. And I literally know someone that did happen to. So somebody that I know was a supporting director. They didn't really know the people. They didn't do the project properly. So the lottery asked the person that I know, well, you've got to pay the money back. And she was like, no, don't email me again. And that was it. So nothing can happen. So that, of course, they can ask, because of course they're going to ask all the directors, aren't they? Well, the project wasn't run. We need to have our money back. They can ask that. But there's not essentially anything that they can do. If a crime has taken place, like someone's literally run off with it, then it's for them to obviously, report that person. But from what I can see, all that actually happens is they get struck off. So the lottery strikes them off. I suppose what could happen is they could be taken to small claims court, or and asked to pay the money back. But assumingly they just dissolve the company. And again, because nobody's personally liable, that would be it. Unless actual fraud has taken place, then it's a crime, then that's different. But like I said, what kind of situation is really going to happen in your circumstances? Can you really see that person is really going to sort of run off with the money or not do the project? At the end of the day, it's not difficult to run a project and show evidence for it. What you should be doing is keeping all the receipts, spending the money as it's supposed to be spent. Don't pay people in advance, you pay them after the work, and then the lottery are happy. That's all you need to do. So just, make sure you follow the budget, you do the projects, and if at any point when that project starts, you're unhappy about how you think those things are not being done, resign and immediately and get yourself removed, and then it's nothing to do with you. So, and then you can say that, you can say, well, I'm not happy, the project isn't being run how we, said it was supposed to be run, so I don't want any involvement. So as soon as you get any kind of whiff of anything going wrong, just take yourself off, and that's it. So I hope that reassures you in that, you are not personally liable, and if somebody else has done something wrong, it's them that needs to be answered to that. It won't be you. So how can you support your CIC? I think that it's nice that really everybody in this situation supports each other. So I think the founders should be supportive of you. You're doing them a favour. So I always say, you know, take them out for dinner or a nice lunch or something, you know, for their quarterly meeting, pay for it, because they've done you a favour. So I hope that your founder is going to treat you well and respectfully, and maybe take you out for lunch, and keep you in the loop of everything that's going on, and invite you to any events so that you can come and actually enjoy, you know, what you've supported. It's a really wonderful thing when you see, you know, an event or an exhibition or a workshop or something like that that's going on. You know, it's really nice for you to be able to sort of see the good of what you've done, and be able to sort of hear from the community about how the work has benefited them. So please do get involved and support, but don't get too involved, because you've been asked as a supportive director. You know, you are a supportive director, the founder is doing the work, you know, let them get on with it and let them design it. I'm sure they're going to do a good job. And what the founders doesn't want is to have a director that's going to be kind of like telling them what to do, and, you know, kind of getting too involved, because then that's when clashes can happen and people can fall out, and that's when there can be issues. So yes, we want to avoid that. So please do just be respectful of, you know, the founder has come up with their idea, you know, they've well researched it, they're doing their work, just give them the space to do that. And again, if you're not happy, just remove yourself. So, and again, if you're not happy with something, obviously voice it in your quarterly meetings. And if it can't be resolved, then just resign. But generally speaking, I'm sure everything's going to go perfectly well. In the literally vast amount of cases that I have with all my students, the supportive directors are happy to continue supporting. They stay on for a long time, and and they really enjoy seeing the impact of the work that's being done by the community interest company. And again, remember, it looks great on your CV and your portfolio that you've been a director of this great project. So really, everybody should be happy in this situation. There's very minimal risk. Risk can also be managed, and there's no going to be major comeback on you. So I hope that helps sort of reassure you and sort of let you know what your responsibilities are, and let you know, what to expect from your experience of being a supporting director. Any questions, you know, you're welcome, even if you're a supportive director or you're a founder, jump over to my website and feel free to ask me any questions.